Existence is the most fundamental mystery we live inside, yet rarely pause to face. Before we ask what reality is, or what consciousness is, or what purpose is, a quieter and deeper question waits underneath all others. Why is there anything at all? Why does a universe arise instead of nothing? Why do mountains stand? Why do minds awaken? Why do events unfold at all? Philosophers have argued for centuries. Scientists have measured for decades. Sages have contemplated for millennia. Yet the question remains, untouched at its core. We do not begin with an answer. We begin with a fact. There is something rather than nothing. And in that fact lies a world of inquiry. In the earliest Buddhist traditions, this question did not appear as an abstract puzzle to solve, but as an experience to observe. The Buddha did not speculate about a first cause. He pointed instead to paticca samuppada, dependent arising. Things exist because conditions support them. And when conditions cease, the things cease. Existence is not a static block placed at the beginning of time. It is an ongoing event, a continuous unfolding, where each moment leans on countless others. From this view, the question, why does anything exist, becomes, why are conditions such that appearance arises? And the answer is not hidden in a single cause. It is woven through the entire fabric of interdependence. A star burns because nuclear fusion occurs. Fusion occurs because matter condensed under gravity. Gravity shapes matter because of the curvature of space-time. Space-time expands because of initial conditions that drift beyond our conceptual reach. Every answer becomes another doorway. But Buddhism adds a remarkable twist. It says that asking for a first cause may be the wrong kind of question. In the Vakkhāgata Sutta, when the wanderer Vakkhāgata pressed the Buddha about the beginning of the world, the Buddha remained silent. Not because he did not know, but because such questions assume a structure that experience does not support. They assume linear chains leading backward to a single origin. Yet dependent arising is not a chain but a network, a web where each point supports the others. Nagarjuna, centuries later, made this insight explicit. If all things arise dependently, then no thing has intrinsic existence. And if nothing possesses intrinsic existence, then existence itself is not a substance, but a relation. The question, why is there something rather than nothing, collapses under this light. Because something and nothing are concepts generated by mind, and neither has meaning apart from conditions. Shunyata, emptiness, is not non-existence. It is the absence of independent existence. Things exist because they are empty. They arise precisely because they are not bound to fixed essence. Emptiness is the space through which becoming flows. This perspective transforms the original question. Instead of imagining the universe as an object that bursts into being from a void, we begin to see existence as the shimmering of interdependent events, without beginning and without solid ground. But human intuitions resist this. We crave a story. We want a cause. We want a cosmic parent, a primordial spark, some absolute foundation from which the world emerges. Many civilizations produced such narratives, creation myths, divine architects, eternal substances. In contrast, Buddhism does not deny the possibility of vast beings or subtle realms. It simply refuses to make any of them the ultimate answer. For the Buddha, the deepest question is not who created the world, but how clinging creates suffering. Still, the mystery remains. Even if existence is relational, even if phenomena arise dependently, the question reappears in another form. Why does this web exist at all? To approach this, we can look to the interplay of appearance and awareness. The world we know exists only because it is known. In Yogācāra thought, Viññāpti matra, cognition only, describes reality not as a hallucination, but as an inseparable dance between knowing and known. Without consciousness, appearance does not appear. Without conditions, consciousness does not arise. Reality is this mutual revealing. From this vantage, the question shifts once again. Instead of, why does anything exist? It becomes, why does experience arise? And the answer may lie within experience itself. In deep meditation, when the movements of mind settle, awareness begins to see how phenomena appear and vanish without an owner. Thoughts arise because seeds ripen. Sensations arise because contact occurs. Emotions arise because memories and perceptions intertwine. Nothing stands separate. Everything unfolds as pattern. In that unfolding, the felt sense of existence softens. The solidity of the world becomes translucence. The idea of a universe sitting out there loses meaning. Appearance is event. Event is knowing. Knowing is condition. If existence is event, then asking why it exists may be akin to asking why music plays when instruments vibrate. It plays because the conditions for sound arise. The question dissolves. Modern science, approaching from another angle, finds echoes of this view. Quantum physics shows that particles do not exist as independent units. They appear as probabilities until observed. The universe at the smallest scale is not substance, but interaction. Fields vibrate. Properties emerge from relation. Nothing stands alone. Cosmology pushes the question further. When physicists ask why the universe exists, they encounter equations rather than explanations. Some propose that existence arises from a quantum fluctuation. Others suggest multiverses, where countless realities flash in and out like bubbles. But none of these accounts answer the deeper question of why the field of possibility exists at all. Neuroscience provides another perspective. The brain constructs models of the world based on prediction and feedback. What we experience as existing reality is partly shaped by sensory input and partly shaped by neural interpretation. This does not mean the world is illusory. It means that what appears exists in a web of processes: physical, perceptual, cognitive. Existence is not object, but emergence. From a Buddhist standpoint, these scientific discoveries do not provide metaphysical answers. They reveal something subtler, that the world is not what it appears to be, and that the mystery of appearance is not resolved by measurement. Existence is relational at every scale, but even relational existence leaves us with the human longing for meaning. If everything arises dependently, does that make existence empty of purpose? For the Buddha, emptiness is not nihilism, it is liberation. Because things do not exist inherently, they can transform. Because the self is not fixed, awakening is possible. Because the world is open, texture, wisdom, and compassion can shape it. So when we ask, why does anything exist? Buddhism replies in a way that sounds like a paradox. Existence does not need a reason. It is its own unfolding. Yet existence is not random. It unfolds through causes, and within those causes lies the possibility of freedom. One of the most profound statements in the Pali Canon says, "When this is, that is. When this ceases, that ceases." This is not an answer to why the universe exists. It is a method for seeing how existence functions. Information. They sable into they over days, more into to self, and are endices, and are endices, and are endices, endices. When we understand this, the question that once felt cosmic becomes intimate. Why does anything exist? So that experience can arise, so that awareness can know, so that wisdom can respond, so that suffering can be understood and released. A universe that appears without inherent foundation is not meaningless. It is spacious. It allows for awakening. It allows for compassion. It allows for transformation. In Mahāyāna thought, especially the Avatasaka Sutra, reality is portrayed as Indra's net, an infinite web of jewels, each one reflecting all others. Existence is not a single thing that popped into being. It is the luminous openness in which all reflections occur. To ask why the net exists is to miss the miracle that it reflects at all. Some Zen teachers express the answer through silence. When asked why anything exists, the master lifted a flower. Another tapped his staff. Another simply laughed. These gestures do not trivialize the question. They reveal that existence is not explained by thought. It is encountered. If we look closely, we notice something remarkable. The question, why does anything exist, assumes that non-existence is simpler, more natural, more expected. But what if that assumption is mistaken? What if existence is not the exception, but the expression of conditions, eternally in motion? What if reality, like fire, burns because conditions burn? Buddhism does not assert a final reason. It invites a shift of perception. Existence is the field in which wisdom grows. It is the arena where compassion becomes possible. It is the stage upon which impermanence dances, revealing freedom in every step. So perhaps the most meaningful response is not a cosmic explanation, is less than #0. 6# is greater than but a transformation of the question itself. Why does anything exist? Because interdependence flows. Because awareness meets appearance. Because conditions create opportunity. Because in this vast unfolding, beings can awaken. When we see existence as process, not possession, the original mystery becomes less about origin and more about presence. Why does anything exist? Because this moment exists. Because the universe breathes. Because life ripens. Because mind recognizes. Because the world appears. And because we are here to witness it. If we insist on an ultimate answer, Buddhism returns us gently to silence. In that silence, mountains stand without needing justification. Rivers flow without needing permission. Awareness shines without needing a source. And in that same silence, the question dissolves like mist. Existence remains, clear and ungraspable, offering itself in every breath,